So then we walk out, and he says to a passing person,
A person coming in.
Yeah, hey, nice Kona.
How do you like your Kona?
How do you like your Kona? And then he says,
in his accent,
he says, oh, it's fine. Didgeridoo, top of the morning to you, Vegemite. And then
he says, is this a joke?
He said, I just got the electric Kona, and it's right here, also in gray.
Isn't it great? And this gentleman asking, do you like your Kona? Is the guy that we just listened to for maybe an hour and a half give the most plethora of Cobra facts that I have heard in a long time.
He knew everything.
From Cobra Mustangs to Cobras to the Mach 4s, Mach 1s, Mach 2s, Mach 3s. They have 2 of the Mach 4s.
The tour guide at the Shelby Museum, Shelby America, lost all credibility when we walked out the door.
As soon as he said, I'd love my electric Kona.
Electric Konas are something that get forced upon you against your will.
Corporately.
Because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to drive a sports car every day because the company has provided me with an electric Hyundai.
Right. Or you work for Hyundai.
But if you
probably volunteer at Shelby America.
Wiping away a single tear as I say this. But if he's working for Shelby America, hosting Shelby America, being the tour guide at Shelby America,
please drive a Ford.
Then, yeah, at least drive a Ford. I don't care if it's a Focus.
Even if,
Ford makes an electric car called the Mustang.
The E-Mach.
E-Mockery. Which is what they should have called it.
You could get yourself an older Fox body for crying out loud.
I don't know, man. It's just like
stand out there.
It's just like when you see somebody who doesn't, who's not. I guess it's that wasted potential or whatever. I guess with your purchasing power, you could buy.
Oh yeah.
I expect the guy to drive a Mustang, or something,
or even one of those '90s T-Birds.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I can't, but also...
just a generic F-150, for fuck's sake.
If you have a chance, though, you have to go to Shelby American Museum in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, man, that was such a great experience.
It's a beautiful museum. It's amazing because the outside just looks like a normal... It's a square brick office building.
Yeah, cinder block brick.
Where the inside it could be set up to just make... I don't know, data entry. It just couldn't be. It wouldn't be anything special.
A generic-looking building from the outside.
Yeah, and Greg had a bad impression already when we pulled up because I showed up a little bit late, with coffee in hand, smiling, and Greg's like, "They're mean to me already."
You should have seen. They were mean.
You didn't like some guy pulls up in a lifted Shelby
edition
straight
F-150.
off the dealership lot, Shelby edition F-150.
Oh my god!
With the stripes,
and he's got I should have looked up the.
He had too many accessories.
What kind of a hat was that? Did we determine what kind of hat he had? It's your New York cabbie 1980s to 1990s New York cabbie flat hat.
Right. Turn of last century, a Brooklyn street tough cap, but he was also wearing a vest and too many glasses.
And he had
sunglasses, regular glasses. He had gold chains,
framed Oakleys with the yellow lenses in them.
And he walked past you, and
as he's walking past me, he takes off his glasses and then he side eyes me like I wasn't good enough to be sitting in that parking lot. Like him and his truck were so much better than me and my truck. And I was like, I just started laughing. I just laughed through my windshield at him. I'm like, who the fuck are you, dude?
Yeah, so now we're in a mood to be punchy and criticize everybody.
Yeah, it sparked the wrong flame for a first impression.
Yeah, so...
Because the other pretentious fucks that were walking in, I got here at 10 o'clock, I get to walk in first. Oh, okay, buddy. I mean, there's a room enough for all of us. You can go first.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's like, maybe just because a bad taste in your mouth now we're all upset about the tour guide, driving a
The
Hyundai
experience the whole time inside, though, with or without those people, was great. That museum is awesome, and I learned a lot more things than I thought I knew.
Because I've gone in there in the past a few times and had felt like I was on sacred ground and I need to take my shoes off, kind of experience.
I feel like it is that kind of a place. It is sacred because people that have passed away have blood, sweat, and tears in those vehicles in that building, and it is spiritual, if you ask me.
And and there is something to that place where it's a little hushed tones because everybody has reverence for every car in there. You could tell, and the guy with the 1920s street tough guy actually left pretty quick to go grab more accessories from Las Vegas, I think.
Another Starbucks.
To bejewel himself and hop back in his Shelby truck. He was there for 10 minutes, man, and then he left. It was weird.
The tone and the dynamic inside that building, everybody talked quietly.
There was reverence there, for sure.
And everybody had, that respect for what they were. Nobody got close to any object in that building.
Yeah.
Everybody looked as they should. Everybody did everything as they should. It was a sense of community that you don't usually see. And the way everybody I can't get over how everybody was just talking quiet, and you could have a conversation with who you were there with and not have to overhear everybody else's conversation and try to get yours done at the same time.
Yeah, because, you walk right into the front door, okay? And
the blue hairs. Can I get $5 from you, Sonny?
Yeah, because I'm not. I had to stop because I was already walking straight. Because right in front of you is Ken Miles, Le Mans winning GT40.
What is it? A Mach 4?
It's a. I don't know. It's a one.
Mark 4. Mark 1.
I'm sorry.
Mark 2?
No, because that's the thing they confuse. They threw out so many numbers.
Yeah.
But it's actual Ken Miles, like light blue with the red stripes over the headlights.
Man, that car was
Le Mans
awesome.
winning car that was featured in the movie that's on the posters and everything.
The magnesium wheel.
Sitting right in front of us as you walk in.
So cool.
And so you're like going, oh, damn. And then the guy to your right is going, hey, it's just a $5 donation to get into. You're like going, yeah, here's money.
Can I go wander now?
Yeah. Hurry. Give me my change now. Quick.
Do you have bibs?
Yeah. And and then you walk in and it's not how big do you think that building is? It's
100 foot by 100 foot?
Well, maybe it's slightly bigger, but
it's not
100 feet. No, it's bigger than 100 feet. But it's maybe 300 by 300 feet or something.
You think?
Yeah,
maybe.
And then, but it's not huge. The square, it's too small. It looks smaller on the outside than it is on the inside. It's really tall ceilings, but once you walk in there, you go, oh, there's $80 billion worth of cars in here.
Billions of dollars worth of cars.
Literally, there's billions of dollars worth. There are
at least 1 billion.
Because you look around, you go, okay, there's a brand new Ford GT here. There's a 2006 Ford GT, and that one, is $500,000, and that's probably the cheapest car in there.
One of them, yeah.
And
it probably is the cheapest car in there. Even the Falcon was probably worth more than $500,000.
Well, because the Falcon was a Shelby
tow vehicle.
Their delivery vehicle, their tow vehicle that had a high performance 289 in it, the race engine in it that Peter Brock drove around.
Yeah, to tow the first Shelby race car
with the Shelby stripes down the hood. So,
oh man,
yeah, and then they have the molds for the GT40s are hanging on the walls. The
aluminum body, 52 pounds. That's just 52.
There was an aluminum body, a Cobra aluminum body, and he said it was one of the originals or whatever that they had. The first aluminum bodied ones, and it's hanging on the wall, and Greg and I are both staring at it, going because the hammer marks, and going, oh look, it got crashed here.
We could fix that there. We could
fix that here. Greg's thinking, I need to buy an English wheel. We're both talking about it on eBay immediately after. How do we get English wheels?
Marketplace.
We don't have one, and looking at it, going, yeah, there's curves here. Yeah, all these dents. I want to take them out.
Oh,
and
man.
Where's this welded together? Because it's all one piece, front, nose, and tail.
Piece.
And it's hanging on the walls. And then one of the Shelby guys comes up and goes, that thing's 52 pounds.
That's just 52 pounds hanging there.
Yeah, the whole body.
Like, fuck yeah. We're going to put it in the back of the F-150 and go make a buck out of it.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back in a week or two.
Few days. Yeah, and like, so it's overkill. I mean, because everything it's beautiful there. And if you're a Shelby fan, then you have to be there. You have to look at it. It's too many
generally,
cars.
if you're a Ford fan.
How many Le Mans winners were there? Just cars that won Le Mans. I mean, they were probably
8 to 10?
Yeah, probably 10, yeah.
8 to 10, conservatively 6, not having a full education on it.
And
but those the 2 of 6 that are out there in the world, both of those won, didn't they?
Yeah, and they had the 2 of 6. What do you mean? Which ones were those?
Mach 4s. Those were the Mach 4s.
Well, the yellow one was a GT40 Mark IV. And then they had...
The Burgundy was a Mach 4 also.
They said J6.
J6s, yeah. Or J7s.
It's J6. Because I read it several times. But,
okay.
But that one raced at Le Mans and also won, or not, didn't win Le Mans, didn't finish, but it spun off because because some amateur driver was
Andretti
was racing it. Yeah, that's some Italian guy named Mario
McLaren. I can't remember.
Mario Andretti. The yellow Mark IV was Bruce McLaren drove that.
But almost all of the ones that did race and either race Le Mans or Sebring or the other ones, they were all podiums. Mm-hmm. They all at least had one podium each, and if not, they're all top 10 finishes.
Yeah, or they won at Sebring, or they won at Daytona, or something else.
I never saw I saw a 10th on one of them, but never saw come in 20th, came in 40th. They're all top 10 and podium finishes.
Yeah, it was great. There's a good variety of stuff because they had a non-Shelby Ace at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then it just kind of
57, right?
Yeah, and the 60.
The first one was a 57, then the next one is a 62.
And it just kind of builds up as it goes around. Where it was like the very first Shelby Cobra of ever is there, and then
the prototype that they took on display for everywhere that they painted several colors.
CSX, Carroll Shelby experimental.
Yeah,
and then it just kept building and building from there. And there's the Gulf liveried painted GT40 there was a camera car for the Steve McQueen Le Mans movie.
Oh man! And they cut the top off of it, but then they put it back on.
They entered that car into the race at Le Mans so that they could use it as a camera car while filmed the Porsche
to get race footage.
Yeah, and everything. So they had live race footage at that actual Le Mans race.
The tour guides they said they didn't like it so much because at 150 miles an hour it got really squirrely. It had real big cinematic camera work.
Cinematography, which is not used anymore.
It's not used anymore.
Yeah, a lot of actors
now we have GoPros,
allergic to cinnamon.
Car phones.
But I mean, racing down Mulsanne with a big ass camera hanging out the roof, and then next to filming 917s flying past you, and Porsche and Ferrari Testarossas and all these other 512 things,
and trying to corner shooting past that thing.
Yeah, and then exactly, and
it's really entered into the race. It's an actual race car in the race, so they can.
And it didn't come in last, I don't think, but
so they could get race footage and everything. Well, yeah, it finished the race, and the cars that didn't finish came in.
Yeah, it's awesome, and so that whole museum was just amazing. Each car could have been a huge story. I was just kind of joking with Greg while we were there that. If one of these things showed up at Cars and Coffee, it would be the best thing ever. If one of them did, and everybody would stop and go, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
But there's every single car is a huge notable story. You're like going,
every single car in there.
Dan Gurney raced this one. Oh, Dan Gurney raced this one. Oh, Dan Gurney won Le Mans in this one. Oh, Dan Gurney. Yeah, every single car there, and
they're all the blue with the white stripe or they're white with the blue stripe.
Yeah.
Certain other ones that were black for some reason were racing at Sebring or something like that, right?
Well, yeah, and other teams who campaigned those cars, but it was just and even the tour guide who was telling people, he goes, well, they started putting stripes on so they could tell their race cars apart from each other because there's two different teams racing the same colored cars, and so
they couldn't see them at night, so they wanted to tell their cars apart.
Yeah, and so they got lights on the side, to see your car racing on the other side of the track, identified as it comes into the pits.
And there's George Lucas.
Yeah. And also...
there's a picture of, 17-year-old George?
Yeah, because Greg and I decided to celebrate May the 4th by going to the Shelby Museum. And then, unintentionally seeing a picture of George Lucas, which we'll put up on Instagram.
May the 4th be with you.
Because he's like going, well, George Lucas as a teenager was interested in racing. And he wanted to join Shelby. I'm like, I never heard this thing. That's insane. And he goes, yeah, it's both. And then he went on to film
American Graffiti.
American Graffiti a few years later. And you're like going, geez, dude. Okay. Wow. That's nuts.
What a small world that we live in.
Yeah, knew he was a car guy, but holy cow, it's kind of awesome. And you have
I wonder what he drives now, George Lucas.
George Lucas? I don't. Probably just a land speeder.
He's probably not allowed to drive. Actually, he's worth too much money.
No, I mean, it's he probably just has some tall, brown, fuzzy guy drive him. But yeah, there's a cool picture of him with a race jacket on that says George, scripted or sewn onto the front of it.
1950s scripture, 1960s scripture.
Yeah, pretty cool. And he goes, yeah, it's George Lucas right there. And then but every single car had an awesome story. They had a lot of GT40s. They had the very first, road car. That was GT40. So for some homologation reason, I'm sure, and then they had
the prototype GT40 with no roof on it,
with no roof on it,
and there was no top on that piece of glass for the windshield.
No frame at all. That triplex laminated.
And they said when they took all the Mach 4s, J7s, J6s across the ocean, that all the windshields broke and they had to ship new windshields.
They went racing and they broke every glass broke for the J6s going down the track later on.
So how much does that body actually move? The honeycomb aluminum body.
Yeah, he passed around this piece of aluminum that. Aluminum on the inside, honeycomb in the middle, and then aluminum on the outside. And then he said, then they fiberglass over that, and the resin holds everything together.
Can you believe after they cook it like that? That's amazing.
It's pretty fun, but yeah,
the rivets don't hold it; the glue does.
Even though we're incredible pros and we know everything about cars and materials, that was still shockingly light. that honeycomb aluminum piece, because you're like going, okay, even that was
the volume of aluminum there, that it looked like a 7 pound piece.
Yeah,
but it was a pound.
Yeah maybe, and had like you said, it looked like a radiator in between.
Yeah, it looked like a radiator.
The aluminum in between the honeycomb core, they said. Yeah. So it was really cool. All of this, the stuff, and I'm like, goodness, they seem to be busy as heck. But also, if you're planning a trip, you have to. It's only open on Saturdays, and it's only open from 10 a.m. to 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah,
and
it's worth it, man.
Well, it's $5 to get in the door,
and not only that, you get to see a $33 million car. You get to see a $15 million car, and they're all sitting side by side. And as you go through all those cars, each one of those cars has a value similar to that, if not more. And like you said, that one that's only worth $500,000.
Yeah,
that's the cheapest car in there.
Yeah, probably.
Come on, that's insane. I mean, maybe the Falcon's worth $500,000. Maybe the Thunderbird or the Fairlane Firebird. What was that one?
I don't know, dude.
The white drag car, behind the Cobra drag car.
Oh yeah, I missed it.
That one
staring at everything else
is probably only worth $500,000, but.
Probably a Fairlane, probably not a Firebird.
Yeah,
knowing
but it said
Shelby.
Firebird on the fender, like the motor, or something like that.
Thunderbird. Okay, I don't know. Anyways,
then there was the 3 GT 350s that were the first ones, right?
Yeah, they had a GT 350R
that
Mustang
was race edition only,
and then Yeah, and then they had a supercharged GT350S.
What was it? Banks? That wasn't a Banks. What was it?
Paxton. Big old Paxton supercharger.
Man, that thing looked like a giant compressor.
It was so cool.
Which it basically is, right?
Yeah, just like having the race versions of these Mustangs back in the day that, you go, okay, this is...
And the one had the Hillebrand manual ejection on it?
It had, and it has all these, all these go fast parts and everything. And they even on the walls, they had basically, these are all the hot rod parts, like
Hot Rod Magazine.
Hot Rod Magazine said, hot rod, how to turn your Mustang into a GT350, basically. It was cool, like all those chassis braces, and then it had like the intakes and everything else.
And the shock and coil upgrades. And
yeah, it was cool. And then you move up to the front, and there's, a little bit of gift shop thing, but there's 3 brand new Ford GTs, the newest generation.
GT-LM.
Yeah, one GT-LM.
Which is one of 20?
Something like that. Like
he was excited to tell you about that one.
It was great. But then they have these, older guys who maybe retired, walking around just telling you information, volunteering a lot of information, volunteering information, whether you ask them or not. And it was really fun. I like that a lot. Man, it makes me want to have that job so bad. But, there's statues of Ken Miles and Carroll Shelby and stuff, but it's so crammed in there. And just these, an actual Daytona, an actual slippery Daytona raced by Dan Gurney. And it's too much.
Right. And then there's aluminum bodies still in the crate in the corner.
Yeah.
There's aluminum bodies off of race cars that they, or not aluminum bodies, fiberglass bodies off of the GT40s that they crashed and replaced, and they're hanging on the wall.
Yeah, and we were walking by one of the display cases, at the end, just kind of looking at the trinkets. And then, jacket? Well, not only that, but then we're staring at the display cases at these fiberglass doors inside the glass case, and then the volunteer Shelby guy comes up and he just goes, "Those doors? You've seen the movie?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "Well, those are the doors off of the car that Ken Miles died in." And you're like going, "Oh, okay."
And that's the dash out of it.
Yeah, that's the last picture of that car before he died. And there's the nose cone of it up on the wall. And you're like going, "Wow, can we touch the blood splatter?" It's just
you were just too happy to say that's the thing that he died in.
I know, right? It was weird. It was kind of weird and kind of fun all at the same time.
Yeah, that was a weird way to close it out because we didn't stay too much longer after that.
Yeah, because and I've been there before and had a little bit more profound experience. I guess maybe we were later in the day and he was firing up some cars because sometimes or I think every week they actually do. They'll start an engine and let it warm up, just to get things going, exercise them a little bit.
Maybe we should have asked.
And they did. They turned on some Cobras that were probably the most expensive vehicles I've ever seen in person, and they wrapped it, hit a few wraps of the throttle, and just it reverberates off. And my friend who was with me, he's this was a few years ago, and it just kind of hit hard, and I was like, going, "Yeah, this is amazing, seeing this thing live and all this history and all this build up." And it was a good punctuation that time because, and it brought him to tears. And I was like, I'm kind of holding it back myself. I didn't cry because I'm really tough. And but it was really cool to see that happen there. And, then you get the smells in the air and everything in this enclosed space. But, it's beautiful and it's amazing place. But
dude, I can't imagine just, having the job of whoever billionaire owns those cars, right? To go and move the cars. We're going to move our display. I want to put these cars here, put these cars there, because they're opening up another a sister museum, I guess.
I guess they bought a warehouse next door too. So
and they're going to open that in July, and one's going to be Mustangs and Cobras only, and the other one's going to be GTs and others.
Yeah.
So the Mark 1s through 8s or whatever they are, but I can understand those vehicles are 60 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can still...
Sure.
And the amount of energy that comes out of those cars. What they say that one car had 1,000 horsepower, the 427 Mach 4
really?
J7 or something like that. That's why they had to make them 5 liters.
Oh, because they were, that J6
was going 232.
had a 427 7-liter. He didn't say the horsepower, but I think they were talking something like 550 horse.
Oh, okay.
But the car's less than 2,000 pounds.
Right. So it's going 232 miles an hour.
232.
If it crashes, it's going to kill hundreds of people.
Yeah, and if only there was a better driver than this little Italian guy. What was his name again?
Mario Andretti.
Yeah, if he had a skilled driver, he wouldn't have wrecked it. But
right. Like Ken Miles.
Ken Miles didn't wreck on track. He wrecked on, maybe he did, but a few times. But
still, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's going that fast, that's their point.
Yeah. What's your top speed? How fast have you ever driven?
Never anything close to that.
Never? Do you only go the speed limit?
No.
Yes,
as I shake my head, yes.
No, seriously. Like I think the fastest I've ever driven, about 155.
I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to be in a vehicle that goes that fast. I've only ever gone 125.
Okay. What car?
Honda Civic.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Fastest cars in the world.
Honda Civic. 4-door. Wasn't even a 2-door coupe. It was a 4-door.
125. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And a Civic, that feels fast.
In a 5-speed Civic, yeah. It's like go-kart fast.
Not to brag.
His monocle falls out.
My top speed was in a Porsche 993 Turbo that was modified, and I went about 155 indicated, at least on its speedometer. That was fun.
That's pretty fast.
But it got there quick.
I bet.
So I didn't have to have that much room, to get there and then back. And that was pretty fantastic.
All the cars I've ever driven were never meant to go fast like that.
Yeah.
Like Chevelles and El Caminos and Blazers.
Oh, sure.
So I've never had opportunity to be in a vehicle that would just go flat out.
Yeah, but even nowadays, 155 isn't that
nothing. That's fast. Just a normal high-speed chase with Challengers and Chargers.
And that speed, it was... Yeah, you get that tunnel vision a little bit, and it's interesting. I mean, that car was capable, so it was okay. I didn't feel nervous. I just was happy. My neck hurt, afterwards because it launched pretty hard. And that thing was still all-wheel drive back in the day. I think it was like a '97 Porsche 911 turbo, and but yeah, I've gone quickly, but not. But not really top end.
Not speeds. Ludicrous speed.
Yeah, you ever go to those Texas Mile kind of races, or we even have them here at an airstrip down here in Colorado Springs.
No, I've never been to one of those.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome, and you see these twin turbo Lamborghinis going down and getting up to 200 miles an hour in a mile long strip, and it's pretty amazing, seeing that happen. And they have some guys will bring out their Bugatti, Veyrons, and
right.
Veyron, and then they'll and then GTR, and it's incredible to watch it fly by.
Dude, that'd be insane to go that fast. But in a big open space, that would be absolutely fun.
In a controlled manner in open space, yeah.
Would you get the full sensation of it, though? Versus being, in the middle of Nevada? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you were going down through downtown New York, it would feel faster.
That's one extreme.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's narrower.
Okay, but you have the long straightaways in the middle of Nebraska. You have the long straightaways in Utah.
Sure.
At one time, Nevada had no speed limits because there's no reason.
Yeah.
You go 50 miles with no town. Why do you need a fucking speed limit? But now there's speed limits because people are stupid and they try and go absolutely fast in rickety old cars.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And then they die. So, but I mean, the 200 miles an hour in a mile, then you have to slow down and shut down and stuff like that.
Well, okay, down that Mulsanne Straight in at Le Mans, in that little, I guess that's what I was getting at, because it's at 230 miles an hour versus
In
the
1966.
relative comfort that I had in a 911. And then, and I've driven a lot of fast Audis, basically, and modified Audis and stuff. But
With
it's like,
this super angry 427 at your left shoulder, just screaming you down the fucking straightaway there.
and have nothing in front of you. It'd be incredibly intense, I imagine.
God, dude.
It would be fun.
The non-balanced tires.
Yeah, going so fast that they had to change the rules because of you. So no more. Everything to this day is 5 liters or less.
Forevermore.
And that's why, because he says that he says, well, now they restricted it to 5 liters because they're afraid of you killing the crowds of hundreds, in the stadium.
And now they can get 500 to 600 horsepower out of a 5
sure.
liter.
And but that's why I drive a 5-liter truck. Because I'm afraid of killing. It's for the crowds
safety.
around me. It's for everybody else's safety.
You don't need to be going 200 miles an hour.
No, dude, I can't. Well, I hold it back. Yeah, because
Thank
of it.
goodness.
Yeah,
I'm glad you didn't try and pass me on the highway then, because I was mobbing pretty good.
I tried. I tried to pass you on the highway.
That little truck does pretty good.
We raced from the stoplight on the way out of there because you have to after all the speed.
Yeah, but I got the cool corner.
No. I took the outside lane and I took very long. But yeah, it's great from 0 to 30, man. I could have had you for sure.
I didn't lose you on the on-ramp, that's for sure.
No, and
You paced me.
And then I backed off because I remember there was a cop ahead, and I was hoping you would slow down too. But luckily, traffic slowed you down. But
I didn't see the cop.
No, it was on the other side. There was a speed check. My Apple.
Oh,
but I was like, oh man. I tell you what though, it was a fun trip. But yeah, like walking out the door of the Shelby Museum and then having
that guy who just gave us all that knowledge.
Yeah, and you're like going, man, did you know Carroll Shelby? Were you on the team?
Yeah.
What's going on? Because I would have believed him if he said it.
Yeah.
And then he starts.
Hey, you like that Kona? Yeah.
And then there's some Australians coming in.
And the guy actually asked him, is this a joke? He goes, no, I just got me a 2024 Kona over there. And I was like, holy shit, dude. Nobody asks anybody if they like their Kona. Nobody asks that.
I know. I think if I were managing the museum, I would go, listen, Rick.
Please.
You can't. I know. I appreciate that you said that outside of the building.
Listen, Rick.
But you can't talk about your Hyundai here, okay? This is sacred ground.
This is sacrilegious ground.
People are walking in here expecting to talk to a burning bush, and you are outside talking about Hyundais. Okay, that's
electric Hyundais.
That is sacrilege. Okay, all right.
You just made Cheryl.
Keep your horned goats and animal. And,
you've got me so upset I can't even say his name.
And baby sacrifices outside of the building.
Carol turned over in his grave when he said that.
But yeah, I mean, I know that Carroll Shelby was.
He's representing his museum, and then he goes outside. Hey,
yeah,
my electric Kona's the shit. I love it. Hey. Like, what the fuck, dude?
It's funny, but yeah, it's like that. The other car movies, watching Rush. Have you ever seen that movie, the F1 movie Rush, with talking about James Hunt and Niki Lauda? And Niki Lauda is driving like an old man in the car, and they start egging him on to go faster. And he says, "Why would you, take risks on a public road? There's not necessary." And then. And the girl next to him's like going, "Nobody told me you're a racing driver," kind of a thing. And he goes, and then somehow he starts shifting faster, and the car doubles in horsepower all of a sudden. And this little Alpha, but it's pretty funny. I think that's based on a true story. And
with four full-size adults is now screaming down the road. Yeah,
but you can maintain speed. Yeah. It's like some of the fastest, most fun driving I've ever had. I won't say most fun, but a really fun time I had was in a Geo Metro that my sister owned. We were going up the mountains to some Christian camp, and holy cow, it's like we're all 3 cylinders of fury. It was a manual, and it was like, and I was pushing harder than I've ever pushed a car, and it's at red line. We're shifting, and I didn't want to. So I kept the throttle in when I'm shifting in between gears just to keep it going, keep it up to speed. You're in 3rd gear and it's screaming at red line at all 4,500 RPM. And you're sweating because any kind of if you take the long or the outside of that turn, then you lose momentum, and then you have to earn it back up on the next 3 turns.
You got to earn it.
And we got luggage and camping gear in there, and I'm sweating, but there's like a police car up there, and I'm like going, oh gosh, and then I let off, but I'm like going, oh, I'm going 28 miles an hour.
What the fuck am I letting off?
Why am I letting off? I should just keep it in there, but it was going, the whole time, worrying up the mountainside.
Some of my best car drives are in 76 two-door Corolla.
Yeah.
What was that? An 83 Honda CBCC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Before the Civic. Yeah.
I think it was an Accord, but it still said CBCC on the dash.
Yeah. The last episode, Mark, he grew up in one of those cars. Yeah.
A fucking great car, man, and you could pound the hell out of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's always fun to abuse a car that's very restricted in speed or whatever. And maybe that's it too, because it's like, because we were looking at what cars do like race car drivers own personally.
Yeah.
And there's like some kind of infamous that Jeff Gordon owns a hybrid Tahoe or whatever. It's like, I'm sure that's given to him by Chevy, but like, he.
Tony Stewart with a hearse.
Yeah, little things like that. But it's like you go, maybe that's not, you're not buying the right car, or maybe you're not using it to your potential.
Or buying out of your potential, one or the other.
Yeah, whatever you're supposed to drive.
Yeah, whatever your dynamic is, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
so like NASCAR guys should have something similar to what they're racing on the track, if not the higher end of it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess it makes sense if a NASCAR driver is driving a Camry, in real life, because he's driving the Camry race car, but it's fiberglass, but it has nothing to do with it. Maybe you should, but we're all thinking, oh, you should probably at least drive a Supra if you have to stay with a Toyota,
or at least a nice family Sequoia or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The guy that races the Mustang has F-150 for the family, right?
Okay, but it takes you out of the racer kind of mentality.
Okay, but you have the Mustang also, but then you have the F-150 for the family. The wife has probably an Explorer to go along with the Ford thing,
Yeah.
You're with your brand.
Yeah.
You don't have a 1996 Malibu. A 70s or 90s. How about a 1990 Geo Tracker? One of those,
Well, that's a man's car. That's more for
whether it's open diffs or not. That's a man's car.
It's just
whether it's purple or not.
Have you driven one?
Yeah, Jackie had one.
Yeah, and that's how you got all that testosterone because your voice got lower after you drove it, right?
Just like getting out of a pink Jeep, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
the purple tracker was just as manly as the pink Jeep was.
Geo trackers are the exception to the rule. They make you manly. I understand. Yeah, I've lived it. I understand, dude. To be fair, though, I did trade that for my dad's BMW.
I traded up there, didn't you?
I did. Huge, man. I traded it for a 73 2002 TII, mechanical fuel injected, which brings us back to mechanical fuel injection that we saw at the Shelby Museum.
Oh, man, that was so awesome. So many cars had that.
Yeah, and it was great, too, just like seeing the differences, because some had mechanical fuel injection, some had, carbs and everything
Traditional Holly, yeah.
And then, but you're looking at, you'd think that all the Cobras would look the same, because they probably had 20 Cobras there.
But each quarter was different,
Each quarter, your rear quarters were all different. Some of them had flares, some were wider, some were thinner. There was a drag car.
And that was a completely skinnied up body, if you ask me.
Yeah, Dragon, they called it. It was cool. And then, and then they had the original AC, AC Ace or AC Bristol, whatever, the AC.
The AC.
Whatever, sorry. And then...
Bristol, and then the AC Ace, yes.
And so they're all very thin, and they changed from car to car, and some are aluminum, some are fiberglass, some are, steel. It's awesome. It was really cool. The whole thing was amazing.
So amazing. I wish more of the hoods would have been open at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I imagine they would have opened them for you if we asked them.
Right.
But there was a little bit of a crowd there. It was pretty cool.
It was just the right amount of crowd.
Yeah, it's good.
Not too busy, not too empty.
And they also they have an interesting way to fund themselves because
The giveaway thing?
because they're only open one day a year, which I imagine this is
1 day a week.
1 day a week. Sorry,
But every year they
it seems like 52 days a year, but they no calendar expert.
I'm no mathematician, that's for sure.
But yeah, I don't know who told me 1 day a year, but
Your brain did, brother.
yeah, stupid brain. But they had a. It's interesting because you go, okay, there's a staff of like 7 people here.
There was at least 10, if you ask me. Yeah, and the one gal that stood at the counter working on her computer the whole time.
I don't know. She's on the commercials.
Is she?
Yeah, she was on the commercial for the raffle, so she's part of it. I don't know.
So she's PR.
I don't know, but
I thought she was just somebody standing there talking the whole time.
no, like because they raffle off a Cobra, Shelby.
What is it? 2024?
Or 23, yeah. But they every year they've been raffling off Mustang, some Shelby Mustang,
Shelby Edition, yeah.
because they had like the GT 350s before, and they had a GT 500. They would raffle off, and now this thing, the new GT 500, where it's the supercharged 760 horse.
Yeah.
That
car looked groovy on the poster or the banner hanging up there.
Yeah, all the carbon fiber wheels and everything, and they raffle those off every year, and funds the museum. Basically, funds the staff.
Could you imagine winning it and then just giving it back to the museum?
I can't imagine that.
Could you write it off if you did it?
I'm not going to put money into the electric Kona fund.
Motherfucker.
But
so that makes me wonder, because I took an assessment of the parking lot at that point.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I took an assessment when the Shelby truck pulled up, and I was like, okay, we're in Ford country, so I expect to see Ford vehicles here. And there was F-150, F-150. There was the GMC Denali guy that had to go racing out of the parking lot, right?
Yeah.
And then there was the Jaguar station wagon, which was owned by Ford at one point.
That's a cool car.
Dude, that car was sick.
Jag XF station wagon, yeah.
That dark green.
Estate, whatever. Yeah, that's a real awesome car.
Oh, man. I'd give up all my Toyotas for that.
Whoa.
That thing is delicious.
Dang, buddy.
Yeah, that's a big statement. But then out in the cul-de-sac parking area, which I assume was the employee parking by the Kona statement,
yeah,
they have the Mini Cooper, an F-150.
Sure.
And then the Kona and a Ford Focus.
Okay.
I understand the Mini Cooper because that's British and,
it's racy.
AC.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I get
the connection because it's...
I guess that's why personally, and forgive me if you love your Hyundais, but I know. but they have no race history,
Not that I know.
I mean, maybe lately when they see SCCA stuff,
right.
And there's some some inline stuff that they're doing and little things.
I think Hyundai's been in racing since 90s or 2000 or something like that, but
not since the 50s, 60s, 30s.
No.
Like Ford, raced their very first car they ever built. So Henry Ford didn't like racing, but he even raced it.
Right.
So it happens. And Chevrolet's racing, Dodge, obviously, all the big NASCAR's thing, Toyota, so I don't know, Mini Jag, obviously, Jag's racing up at Le Mans against all these cars inside the
he had the
building.
Pikes Peak racing thing on his license plates,
okay,
as well as the Mazda station wagon.
Okay,
I think those two guys were buddies.
Okay,
and they had what is that edition license plate? Pikes Peak
Hill Climb.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's Climb the Peak or something. It's in reference to that.
Yeah, Race to the Clouds or whatever.
I think it's...
Okay. That's their tagline. But yeah, I mean, because what car companies don't have race history that you can say?
Hyundai,
probably. Yeah, Kia.
Daihatsu?
Daihatsu has like off-road racing
I think they do actually have race history.
They have like some Dakar stuff and everything too. But
that's true. They just sucked here.
Well, they're hardly ever. They only had like the Daihatsu Rocky and the Charade.
Right. I think Mazda has race history.
Mazda's the most raced car any weekend besides Porsche, man.
I can't think of any automotive manufacturer that doesn't. I mean, Hyundai and Kia do now, but Hyundai and Kia are the same company.
It certainly didn't start that way.
I mean, Subaru's been in racing since the 70s.
70s?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
In a Brat or something?
No, they had super crazy cars back then, too.
Okay. I know that, 90s and stuff, and Colin McRae was when Subaru got on the map. But
Renault even has race history. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Renault's an F1.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, back when they had Le Cars, they were still doing Le Mans.
Yeah, Turbo 5 is
Citroën.
an amazing car. Absolutely.
I can't think of anybody who doesn't have history from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Besides,
obviously, okay, the big three obviously do.
I hope some of our listeners can correct us. One of our listeners, maybe the German listeners.
Yeah, competitive racing history, though. I mean, maybe I can only think that maybe Pagani doesn't have race history. But they built race cars that are gentleman driver cars. I don't know if they compete, though.
How about Ineos?
Maybe I'm wrong. Ineos. There we go. Ineos doesn't. But then again, Ineos sponsors Formula One like crazy. So
they have race history.
They definitely are a fueling and chemical company that have been.
Somebody has to correct us. Maybe Hyundai and Kia have.
There's going to be some proud Hyundai
involved in racing somewhere, whether they built cars for
since
it or
1920.
not.
Hyundai's been racing, and I don't know. Well, maybe they're just not known for it or anything like that. It's not like it's not like you see a Ford Fusion going around NASCAR racetrack. You go, that's it. That's what I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna have that. That blood is in my car. That's Carl Edwards and me. We both race the same car. You know that there's a separation there, and
some slight separation.
Yeah.
Besides finance.
Exactly.
So my point to that was if Rick is not the curator, but he's the guy that's telling us everything about race cars and race history.
Yeah, and he's associated with racing.
Associated in the biggest way, if you ask me. To go outside and have a Kona. No, Rick, please, can you please have some kind of a race type car or a car that they turned into a race car, or at least have a Ford?
Yeah,
or because you work at a Ford museum,
or even get like an old Dodge. Do you remember the Shelby Dodge trucks or whatever?
Oh yeah, or even the Shelby Daytona. Please,
the old Daytona that had a lot of Mitsubishi parts in it.
Yes,
yeah. And then there was also the Dodge Omni, the GLH.
Right, but that's Lee Iacocca who made the Mustang, who went to.
Absolutely, but it's Shelby still,
and it's all still Ford based.
Maybe he's got a bunch of Carroll Shelby chili in his trunk, but so that's
that also is then the guy that has the Shelby truck. He's trying to be that guy. At least he's putting the effort into it. And then
that was a weird one, though. I mean, because that's a guy I didn't want to be caught in an elevator with, because there's a lot of jewelry and a vest and that
a lot of homophobic going there,
and the flat cap, whatever you call it,
whatever it was. And, but he was doing the wrong thing too.
Two sets of glasses.
Yeah, because he had to have his sunglasses, but then he had to have his reading glasses to buy his.
And they were gold glasses.
They were also gold.
Yeah.
And then you have the guy that buys the Mustang GT that's, I don't know if it's a limited edition, a special edition or something, and he barely knows how to back it up.
Yeah, you have a neighbor that has a Mustang it's a great car. It's a GT.
I know it's a Mustang GT, but it has special spoilers and louvers and stuff, so I think it's...
And so the opposite way of... He shouldn't be associated with race car.
Right. He puts giant bushwhacker flares on a truck with no lift.
And that's funny. And also we went to lunch and then a Land Rover Defender with the ladders and the racks and the
the steely looking wheels that were aluminum.
steel wheels that are probably aluminum, and
So it looked totally overlanding.
kitted out, had the guards on the top of the diamond plate on top of the hood.
On the fenders like the Indios, right?
And
I forgot about
and
that.
it pulled up, and it looked like it was a driverless car, and it parked in front of the window where we were.
She was so short.
And she gets out all 4'1" of her, and like going, oh gosh, that's overkill for sure. And so it's like, okay, who am I, and what am I really going to do with this thing? And is it I should be associated, like, stay in your lane kind of a feeling, as I guess is the anger that we both had today over and over and over again.
Goodness sakes.
Because I go, man, maybe am I buying too much of a car, or am I buying too little of a car?
Right.
Or I'm buying way outside of my comfort zone. And I think
the guy that had the Kona, he was in his comfort zone. That's where he needed to be.
No, but it's making me uncomfortable.
No, not Rick. The other guy. The foreigner that he talked
but
to.
that was a rental car. No, see, like what I'm saying, that was not his choice.
I see. He was thrown into that.
He's like, how do you like your Kona? And he was put off by the question because he has no association with the car.
And he's like, okay.
Because they came in from New Zealand just to come into
and he really did ask, is this a joke?
Yeah. Is it a joke? What are you talking about, man? Don't talk about about this car. I'm not associated with this vehicle.
Okay, so but think about that personality too. That guy has that personality of he's just sort of talks a lot. And he's going to talk to whoever, oh, I know something about that. What do you think about that? My opinion is this. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And he's just going to talk to you about it.
No, he's great.
He likes to talk, and there's nothing wrong with it.
But I just want him to, if he's going to be talking and be proud, he better have something that has some
racing history.
And maybe he has another car, but it's like one day a week you're coming into the Shelby Museum.
One day of the 52.
Drive your Mustang in. Okay.
Drive your F-150.
Yeah.
Please, buddy.
Oh, my God.
Your Shelby Daytona.
Your Dodge Omni. The supercharger.
Something that's associated with Lee Iacocca or Ford or...
or
I'm stretching there with the Iacocca and the Daytona.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fun museum. I highly recommend it, and I think we need to go to more car museums and talk to people. But yeah, maybe we also need to be shopping for cars that are more reflective of our own personalities and stuff.
Maybe we should go down to like the airport parking lot and people car watch. See what people get out of what cars and say, okay, that is not your car. Or really you fun. Absolutely fit that car. I can see why you picked that car. It looks like your face, number one.
Man, that would be great. I love it. I love being judgmental. That's why we started this.
Is that judgmental, or is that just being constructively critical?
Well, yeah, it can't be both.
It's just assessing the situation. We're profiling. We're not
profiling. That's it.
Judging.
It's judging. That's fun. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what car should I be driving? What do you think? I drive old pickup trucks, and
those
over and over and over again. But those are out of necessity, totally.
Yeah, but when you had the Expedition, that didn't fit you.
No, but that was like I desperately needed an 1800 car, but it was still $1,800 car,
but it was still the F series that you like and stuff like that. But it was just the weird expeditionness of it wasn't fitting you.
Sure, yeah, and that was the first one and last one I'll probably ever own. But
the Broncos fit you.
Yeah, I like a Bronco.
The size of a person you are. You're tall enough to sit in it and not look too short, not look too tall.
I just like I love how they're designed. They're square, and I'm square. I can fit in them. And then also, and Americana V8, whatever, they're easy and reliable.
At the same time, you could do it in Chevys. You could.
Sure.
Dodges, no.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind a Dodge Ram.
Yeah, but you're not a Dodge guy. You don't fit that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. No, you look like you'd reluctantly.
Who's a Dodge Ram guy?
You look like you'd reluctantly open the door. There's not too many Dodge Ram guys that I know of. And I'm not going to say it.
Don't Dodge Ram guys have like the most speeding tickets of any vehicle or something like that?
Do they?
Yeah, it's insane. It's like like per capita per Dodge Ram, there's more speeding tickets in a Ram versus any other car.
They got Hemis. What do you expect?
I guess so. Yeah, but I mean, and then I think your off-road Tacomas are
my personality.
Are pretty much you, because you built your entire personality around that truck. right?
Well, the truck does reflect my personality, I think.
Well, yeah, because I mean, a stock one, no, but yeah, everything going on there. Every time I see a, I see a lifted one, lifted Tacoma or whatever, I've stopped myself from taking pictures and sending it to you. Like, look, do you know this guy, Greg? He's off-road Tacoma like you. 50,000 of them every day,
Right?
This could be your friend.
I don't know him.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever, but I mean, it's interesting.
But okay, so then Jackie, her Jeep, she fits her personality. She's correct in there because she'll take it off roading and she'll talk to you about her Jeep.
Yeah.
Other individuals who have, like Brandon next door, he has a Toyota Sienna van, but that's just because of the job he had. He was forced into it.
Yeah.
He only has 2 kids. He doesn't need the whole, 3 rows.
Yeah. Do you have to make excuses for the car every time you get out of it?
He does.
Yeah.
But he likes it. It's a good vehicle now.
Oh, Siennas are awesome.
Yeah. It's a Toyota still. I'm just saying.
Okay.
He was forced into it.
Okay. Well, maybe just stay in your lane then. This is the topic of this conversation today. Also, one incredible thing that happened is that you can get Shelby American will test fire some of the vehicles if you're at the museum at the right time. They go through the whole thing and everything is maintained and upgraded. But one amazing, almost spiritual moment was they fired up the most winning Cobra there one time. And it was Bob Bondurant's car. CSX 2345. It was just like it raced 7 events and won 5 of them. It was probably the most winning Cobra, and it's covered in scratches and ran hard, put away wet. It was just an incredible car, and everybody's name's on it, and it's beautiful in its own way next to all these polished and shiny cars. But one of the guys who runs the museum did say that might be the most expensive car there. And I got a little video clip of it running. So listen in. Pretty cool. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you next week.